have a lot of guys that have played there.
Okay. Why do you think they'll embrace it as a team?
Well, I just think, man, when you're a competitor, you just love it, man. You go on the road, it's you against everybody else, and it's very clear that it's you against everybody else there, and there's just enough. I just mentioned this before. You go someplace, man, they wave at you like, man, we're so happy you're here to play against us. This is not one of those places. That's it. It's as far from that as you can possibly get. And it's just, I don't know. I loved playing in atmospheres like that. And I just know the type of guys we have. I think they're going to eat it up. I really do.
All right, we have a big game versus Philadelphia. It's kind of mirrors the Kansas City game in a way, because you're going into the game beat up, hella beat up in the game. As you was with Kansas City, so the bar was kind of low. Most people I was running to was like, I had this as a loss anyway. In a way, they lost because how the referees took it from them, regardless. But the refs have been pretty kind for the Lions since, the following week. They looked out versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was the one crying, the Deron Payne and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think they paid their debt off to the Lions, and at least for this year, right? But it's a big game. And once again, you had a laundry list of injuries throughout your secondary. Versus Kansas City, you had 2 beat-up safeties, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. You had, I think, beat-up corners in that particular game. And then this game is the same thing. You got to beat up Kirby Joseph, expect to miss his 4th game, which, like I said before, I agree with. When you're dealing with knees, allow him to get completely healthy, still as much time to get healthy as possible. DJ Reed, you probably still want to expect him back to the Giants game. I'm not pushing somebody with a hamstring, especially at the cornerback position. Tyrion got a concussion. Who knows if he can pop up at the end of the week. Meek Roberts popped up with a tweak in the hamstring. Once again, you seeing reoccurring soft tissue injuries, whether it was Rackstraw with his, I think, I forget what injury he had, but regardless, you're seeing guys with injuries and all that type of stuff. So once again, you going against a beat up secondary, you got guys that stepped in to play well, and this is a great spot for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and a lot of them to get on the court to each other. So they got a beat up secondary. The front seven has been manufacturing pressure very, very well. You got Davenport that's limited in practice. You got Josh Pascal that's limited, but I wouldn't expect him to play or contribute. So honestly, once again, it's a common occurring theme. You go back to, I think, Thursday or a night game they had against Green Bay when everybody was hurt last year and they found a way to win. Kansas City this year, everybody hurt was on a Sunday night. That was a primetime game. Washington last year in primetime, the first couple plays, Meek Roberts broke his arm. And, then you go to, this Sunday night, you beat up again. It's a reoccurring theme. And I don't want to sound like my injury video, but at what point do they say, let's get together and we got to, get a better strategy, as far as how we selecting these players and durability and how we managing these players when they get here. So once again, you step into another important Sunday night game with a beat up roster. It's the same shit, same shit, different toilet, right? But it's an important game because, this might be the difference in January, you going to Philly or Philly coming to Ford Field. So it's a very important game. I heard J-Mo made a promise they going to win. I know some people like the way they match up with Philadelphia. I know some people say, well, Philadelphia looking shaky. So have we. We've looked better than Philadelphia, as far as some of the things we have done. But Philadelphia is getting healthy on the defensive side of the ball. Howie Roseman, probably the best in the business, is got Jalen Phillips. He looked very productive in that game versus the Green Bay Packers. They brought Brandon Graham back, which I guess he was tired of being at the crib getting nagged by his old lady. But shout out to him from the deep. But yeah, they find ways to win, straight up and down. They actually find ways to win football games. And at the end of the day, at some point, you trust a team that's been through 3 or 4 offensive coordinators, whether it was Shane Steichen, who is a fucking rock star in Indianapolis and what he doing, whether it was the guy after him, whether it was Kellen Moore, and then now whoever they got right now. So I trust that they will find a way as their defense get healthy, Jalen Carter whip into shape. They will be there at the end, and you're going to, whether it's first, second, third round, I think you will have to go through Philadelphia. So, a lot of these matchups, you see them in a regular season and, in the postseason, the team that lost in the regular season, they tend to win these matchups. You know what I'm saying? They tend to lose or tend to win them. So, tend to win. But, honestly, the Lions are built to play wherever, but you want that home field advantage. And that's the critical thing about it. You want home field advantage. You want to have that game in your stadium. You don't want to go to Philly in the cold. That's just what it is. You don't want to go to Philly in the cold. So that's just the kind of honest truth. So it's very important. And who knows, Philly can fall off and lose a few games down the stretch. I don't know what their schedule are. We can fall off and it could be a tiebreaker at the end. And you need to get that dub. So, I mean, ultimately, it's an important game. Ultimately, it's a serious game. Ultimately, it's a very, vital game, man, in my humble opinion. So, I mean, shit, you know, it's important. So yeah, it's a very important game, but only, they can be the difference, Super Bowl or not. But, if I'm the Lions, I want to get this win, and really, if you Philly, is it a bad thing to really go to a dome? I guess if you outdoor team, you want to be at the crib, but they really want to be out there in the cold, exchanging blows. Like, come on, you want to be in that nice 72-degree dome, but it's a very important game. But once again, another important game with a beat up Lions team. Are you starting to get healthy? Yes, you're starting to get healthy. Terrion survived. Davenport coming back. Pascal coming back. Hamik been holding it down, but hopefully he get healthy soon. And a lot of these guys are starting to come back. But ultimately, another big game that can make and break it. Make or break it, because they in reality ain't in danger of not making the playoffs. They really that's something nobody talking about. They're in danger of not making the playoffs. And that's why I was so critical for Dan to take over play calling, because they're in danger of not making the fucking playoffs. It's that thick. If they lose this game, they 6-4. They 6-4. So that's the thing about it. It's an important game. The Philly had dropped to 7-3. We'd be 7-3, but they go to 8-2. You go to 6-4, you ain't catching them. So in ways, you dropping that Minnesota game, it hurt. The Green Bay game, it was what it was. It was a prequel to what John Morton had done. And John Morton, they put plays together despite his play calling. They put points up despite his play calling. And that's a fact. And then that's the fact. And then who else did they lose to? Green Bay. They lost to Minnesota. Okay, in Kansas City, that was what it was. So that's why it's critical, man. But maybe it'll be in a wild card team is what the Lions need to do. But it'll be nice to see them, have an NFC Championship game at the crib. But this game determines that. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Like I said, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist and let me know if you think this game is important as I'm saying it is. So that's how I feel about it. I'm not saying that my beliefs is on you guys, but I think it's just damn near God tier important.